Good morning. Wednesday. It's here again, huh? Let's do a little yoga. Today we're going to start in mountain pose, so standing, which is kind of unusual for me, but meet me at the top of your mat in Tadasana. It sure is more daylight out nowadays, now that we've kind of moved into spring. Can't remember when we were doing this in the winter, how dark it was. Even when I got done, it was dark, but now it's really daylight. So find your feet hip distance apart. Let's feel the feet a little bit. Maybe even heels up and down. Maybe even some movement in the hands, the fingers, the wrists. And then find stillness. Find that place where you're that mountain. And bring one hand to the low belly, one to heart. And send the breath behind the hands. Maybe filling into the belly first. And then the heart. Three more breaths just to get us here in this moment. No hurry. Two more for me. And then release your arms down to your sides. As you inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. As you exhale, bend the knees, a nice soft forward fold. Maybe even fingertips to the ground, pedal those heels up and down again. And then take your hands to your shins, lift halfway. Straighten those legs, or at least work towards that direction. Reach through the entire spine. So axial extension, exhale, fold. Inhale, swing your arms out and up. And exhale, hands home to the heart. Let's do two more like that. Just flow. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Swing your arms out and up. Reach up there for that pretty sky. Exhale, hands home to the heart. One more, inhale. Maybe a little faster this time. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Now from here, let's twist a little. Twist to the right. Bend your left knee. Inhale, forward. Exhale, twist to the left. Bend your right knee. Let's do two more of these each side. Reach through those fingertips. Like you're inside of something and the fingertips can just reach the walls. One more. Bring the hands together, gaze up at the hands, and watch your thumbs as you bring them home to the heart. Inhale up. Exhale, take the left wrist with the right hand. We're going to fold over to the right. Inhale up. Second side, right wrist with left hand, stretch, fold to the left. Let's do two more of these each side. One more each side. Feels good to stretch through those ribs. Look up at the hands again. Exhale, draw the hands home to the heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. On an exhale, meet me in table. Get the knees under the hips and the wrists under the shoulders. Push the mat away. Grip the mat with your fingertips, cat-cow. Flexion and extension of the spine. Just do several, tying the movement to your breath. Waking up the spine. Do two more in each direction. And then back to a neutral spine. Start with the left hand. So you're going to swing that arm up. And now I'm going to take the left hand in between my knees, folding down there and grabbing my right heel or ankle. And pause here. Right hand can just put it somewhere where it's comfortable. If it behind your back feels good, that's okay. And breathe in this unusual pose, in this unusual shape. And then we'll come out of that same way we went in. Reach up. And then second side. So it's kind of like thread the needle, but a little different. So up with the right arm and back. Decide what you want to do with the left hand. And breathe. And then come out like you went in. Reach up and back down. Let's do some circling through the hips. I'll do quite a bit of hip stuff today for Cheryl. Starting to warm up those hip sockets. And then back to table, reaching back with the right leg onto the ball of the foot, push down on the hands, and then really pressing back through the heel, stretching through the calf muscle. Bend the knee just a little bit. Boy, all those tiptoe things we've been doing. I've done several. We did those together on Monday. My calves are sore. This feels good. Now reach through the heel again and let's hover left knee, left shin, left foot, and then do some figure eights. Nice and slow and controlled. Go the other direction. And then switch legs. So back with the left. Come onto the ball of the foot, press through the heel, stretch the calf muscles, and then bend the knee a bit. Reach through the heel again and hover right shin, right knee, right foot, figure eights. Reverse the direction. And out to plank. Come onto the balls of the feet and push yourself forward so shoulders are over wrists, then hips drop a bit. A little lower than the shoulders, but the back isn't sagging. Let's hold for 3 more breaths. Drop the knees. Sit back, child's pose. Keep the hands stuck to the mat though, so you get a nice stretch through the arms, through the side waist. Let the head come down. Breathe. On your next inhale, ripple forward, reach with the spine, so tuck the chin. Then we're back to table, unfurl the head last. Lift the left leg, so lift that leg out like a fire hydrant pose. Let's start to do some circles through the hip. Slow and small. And continue to make the movement slow, but maybe a little bigger. I go the other way. And then we'll switch sides. Right leg out and circle. Start small. Keep it slow so you can take advantage and explore the full range of motion. Reverse the direction. And then down. Now turn your wrists, turn your hands, so the wrists face forward. Your fingers are coming towards you. And this is kind of an intense stretch. So you decide if you bring them closer, it's less intense. At least in my body, and further away it gets a little more intense. So you can rock a little forward and back. Kind of a counter stretch to all the movement we do all day long. Now just rotate the fingers left and right and go back to your hip circles again. Moving the wrists in a little different direction. And then back to table. Fingertips point forward. Tuck your toes. Let's find down dog. And go up there in a nice, slow, controlled stretch. And then, of course, we have to play. Move around. Find some space. Find some sensation. Settling into stillness, walk your feet forward about the length of a foot and then wide, left and right edges of the mat. So a short down dog. And before we come into a twist, which is what we usually do here, let's do a little more work on the balls of the feet. So come up on your tiptoes like you're on high heels and then back. Shifting forward and up and back. Let's do 3 more. And feel the weight shifting up into the hands. Make sure you're pressing into the base of the index finger and the base of the thumb. Keep the wrists happy. And then back down. Now take the left hand across the body underneath to the right shin. We're going to pull and twist and breathe. And then unwind. And second side, right hand under the body across to the left shin. Pull and breathe. And back. So now we're going to lift the heels. You can lift both. Take the left hand under the body to the right foot. Slide the fingers to the pinky toe edge of the foot. And then press the heels down again. You deepen the twist a bit. Breathe. Unwind. Second side. Come onto your high heels and take the right hand under and across, reaching the fingers, whoops, there went my microphone, to the outside of the pinky toe edge of the foot. And then heels come down. You go ahead and stretch while I put my microphone back on. And then unwind that. And bring the feet back to hip distance apart. And look forward. Let's tiptoe on the tiptoes again, up the center of the mat. And we'll find our mountain pose. Pull the feet away from each other, swing your arms out and up. And exhale. Bring the hands home to the heart. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Lift halfway. On your exhale, step back into plank. Drop your knees. Come to your belly. Let's do 5 rolling baby cobra. Chin is tucked. Lift on your inhale, low ribs stay on the mat. Exhale, come down, tuck your chin. 4 more. Maybe for these last 3, you hover the hands. Wake up those back muscles. 2 more. Last one. Hands to the mat, tuck the toes, down dog. Step forward, maybe 2 great big steps to the top. Lift halfway when you get here. Long spine, exhale, fold. Pull the feet away from each other, arms out and up. Exhale, hands home to the heart. Right away, inhale up. Exhale, fold. Lift halfway. Step back in plank. Come to your belly. Let's take 3 high cobra, rolling. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more. And tuck your toes, down dog. Step it forward, maybe start with the other foot. Lift halfway when you arrive. Exhale, fold. Arms out and up. Hands home to heart. 1 more, inhale. And exhale. Lift halfway. And fold. Step back into plank. This time, drop your knees, and we're going to do 5 Yogi Push Ups. So now I'm in a kneeling plank. Exhale, no more than halfway down. Inhale up. 4 more. Keep the core engaged, navel to spine, lifted upwards. 2 more. Last one. Now keep your big toes together, walk your knees wide, and let's take a nice wide child's pose. Sitting back into the hips, forehead can come to the mat, or you can turn your head to one side. And give the wrists and the fingers and the palms a little love here, move them around. Get the blood flow going again. Every exhale, open into the hips a little more, sink a little deeper into the hips. If your head's turned to one side, lift it, turn it the other way. On your next inhale, meet me in table. And then right away, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg back and up, and then bend the knee. We're going to do some hip mandalas. So rippling forward, bringing the nose and the knee towards each other, but then circling out and back up. So kind of between a down dog, three-legged dog, and a three-legged plank. Make some big circles through the hip. Do one more in this direction. Now switch directions. Go the other way. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Second side, left leg back and up. Bend your knee. 3 circles, starting with the knee coming forward and out, back and down. 2 more. And reversing the direction. 4, 3. 1 more. Now walk your hands closer together. So we're going to make that diamond with our hands. Thumbs in, index fingers touch. We're going to step the right foot forward to the outside of the right hand and follow it with the left. Come into a yogi squat. So moving around here can be a good thing. Trying to really drop into the hips. Trying to get those heels to come down to the mat. And then bring your hands together, Anjali Mudra, and upper arms are to the inside of the knees, but the knees are resisting. So when you draw the hands to heart, that resistance causes you to lengthen through the spine. And again, in this shape, let's use our exhale to sink. We're going to feel that sensation in the feet rooted down, and feel that sensation in the hips, that grounded sensation. Three more breaths here. Now take your hands behind you and we're going to sit, keeping the feet to the left and right edges of the mat. So leaning back, trying to, in fact, let's do kind of a wide bridge pose. So my knees are wide. I'm leaning back, trying to keep a neutral spine. It's a little tougher to balance. And stay up here in, I think I said bridge, but boat. And then float the feet down. Keep the hands behind the hips. Now the fingertips point forward. Draw your elbows towards each other. Stay open through the front chest, and we're just going to windshield wiper the shins, left and right. And in addition to noticing the sensation in the hips, notice the sensation available to you in the shoulders. Getting a nice stretch in the biceps. And in the front of the chest, pectoralis muscles. Maybe even serratus muscles along the ribs. Now swing the knees to the right. Come up on that right sit bone. And then adjust here. Sometimes that little lift is all you need to really bring that torso over the inside of the right thigh. You'll still have a bit of a twist. And then grabbing a block to keep it close by. We're going to inhale for a long spine, exhale, fold. The movement comes at the hip. Control this descent with the hands, and then bring the forehead to the block, to the ground, wherever you're comfortable. And again, the exhale opens up that right hip. Find the sensation and then send your breath there. Inhale brings expansion. And exhale brings openness and softness and space. And inhale, come back up. You can repeat that one again or come into deer with me by bringing the heels close to you now. So deep flexion in the knees. Take the hands above the right thigh. So we're going to twist here and then forward fold, sideways fold, whatever you want to call it. Get the block and bring your forehead someplace where you can rest. And then maybe that left arm reaches a little further away as you send that left hip back. Really getting a nice long line of stretch all up and down the left side from the sit bone to the fingertips. And then coming back up, we can take that same forward fold and stay here or start to work into a pigeon. But take your time with this. So straighten the leg out and stay over there on the right hip. So experience that. And then a little bit at a time, maybe start to wiggle that leg in line with your hip. And now the pelvis is parallel to the mat. Maybe, maybe not. Again, using the breath, finding the sensation, sending the inhale there for space. And exhale, sinking into that space, filling it up. And then lift up and unwind. We're going to bring the feet back to the left and right edges of the mat. Plant those hands. Let's just take a few rinsing windshield wipers here. Maybe even comparing the sensation in one hip to the other. Now go to the left. Make sure your block comes with you. And we'll do the same thing. Shifting up, so pushing down, lifting the hip. Kind of adjusting here. Legs are 90 degrees, knee coming straight forward from the hip to the side, I guess. And then come forward, resting your forehead on the block. And maybe remember sensation in the other side and compare it, contrast it to what you feel over here. It's really different on this side to me. Be curious about those things. It keeps your mind here, keeps your mind busy with the moment. Now come up, coming into deer, heel comes close. And we're going to turn to the top of the left thigh. Fingertips come down. And we come into that fold. Forehead comes to the mat. Now maybe that right arm really reaches up there. Sending the right sit bone down and back. Nice long line of stretch all along the right side body from the sit bone to the fingertips. And then unwinding, bringing that block once again in front of the knee. And then maybe we're going to start wiggling towards a modified pigeon. So leg can just come out there wherever it is happy. And then start to wiggle that leg long in line with the hip. And now the pelvis maybe is level with the mat. And breathe. Sinking into the hips. Maybe you can lower the height of the block now. Maybe your forehead comes to the mat. And then rise up. And feet back to the left and right edges of the mat. Let's take another one of those wide boat poses. So hovering the feet off the mat. Maybe bringing the shins to parallel, maybe even straightening the legs. Trying to keep the spine neutral. And then rising up, bring the soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. So kind of a wide Baddha Konasana. Take your ankles, pull on the ankles, let that tip the pelvis forward. And then inhale for a long spine, exhale, fold. Go slow with this. Once the forearms reach the shins, resist with the shins, a little pulsing back and forth. Millimeter by millimeter, maybe finding a little more space to fold forward, leading with the heart. And once you get here, maybe you let this one go and just round and relax and release. Squeeze your glutes together. Feel that externally rotate the thighs. It gives you a little more open sensation in the hips. Now, if you're folded forward with me, walk your hands to the right and just press the floor away. A little stretch in the left back, and then walk the hands forward. Let's pull it here. So we're going to pull the floor towards us. That'll tip your pelvis forward a little more. Maybe you get a little more depth in your fold. And then walk the hands over to the left. Now we're going to push the mat away. Just for kicks, let's pull it towards us. That's kind of interesting too. And then walk the hands forward and walk your way back up. Hang on to the knees with the hands, bring them together. Let's come into a more traditional boat pose. So lifting the shins. Float the hands next to the knees. And maybe start to come down, and then come back up. Let's do 5 of those. 2, 3, 4. One more. 5. And up. Plant the feet and grab the knees. Embryo pose. Breathe up and down the spine. You can have your forehead down there on your knees. I'm going to keep my mouth lifted away from the mic. Really get a good grip on the knees so you can use that pull to stretch through the upper back. And now roll over the knees and meet me in downward facing dog. Swing your right leg back and up. Straighten the leg up long. And then we're going to reach out to the side. So it's like I'm trying to step on the wall and then back up. And out. And up. One more of these. And up. Nice long 3-legged dog. Bend the knee. We're going to ripple forward 3-legged plank, drawing knee to nose. And really make an effort to touch. Inhale back up. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, back and up. This time bring your knee, so this will be your right knee, to your right armpit, and then slide it down to your right wrist. Coming into pigeon, so you can, before you drop into the hips, if you want to try to wiggle the right foot up towards the left wrist, you can bring your shin towards parallel to the front edge of the mat and then slide back the ball of the left foot. Now stay up on the arms here with a little bend. So a little bend, kind of like our high cobra. Heart comes forward. Draw your thighs towards each other. You'll feel lots of support now in the hips. And you'll feel a little relief in the hands. Now maybe you bend the left knee. And maybe you swing the right arm back there and grab your ankle. Again, drawing the knees, the thighs towards each other. And stretching, really nice stretch through the left quads, the front of the left thigh. And then float that chin down. Let's crawl forward into our sleeping pigeon. Bringing a block under the forehead if you need it. We're stacking the fists. And again, use the breath. If the right hip is really up and off of the mat, get something under it. Maybe your block, maybe a blanket, pillow. And keep some integrity in the hips. So keep drawing the hips towards each other. And then unwind or lift, I guess, would be a better direction. We're going to come up onto the hands. Now tuck the toes of the left foot, and you may want to kind of scooch forward a little. We're going to shoot the right leg back and up, three-legged dog. And then drop, downward facing dog. Let's do second side, left leg back and up, lift it high. And I may have trouble here because my big cabinet's in the way, and I'm going to open that leg out and then up. Do two more of those. Three-legged dog, bend the knee. Three-legged plank, rounding, trying to draw knee towards nose and then back up. Keep going. And then this next time we're drawing left knee to left armpit and then tracing a line down to left wrist. And then maybe trying to bring the left ankle towards the right wrist. Slide back on the right foot, sink into this pigeon, but stay here with the hands planted, elbows bent a little. And if you pull the mat towards you here, the heart scoots forward between the gate of the arms. And draw the thighs towards each other. And feel how much power those legs have, lifting a lot of the weight out of the hands. Now bend your right knee, swing the left arm back there, grab the ankle, and then turn the shoulders towards the mat. Breathe. Again, keep some action in those hips by drawing thighs towards each other as you stretch the front of the right thigh. Now float that chin down and crawl out here into a sleeping pigeon. Send your breath into those places that are offering up some sensation, little reassurance with the breath. Now bring the hands to the mat, tuck the toes of the right foot, and shoot the left leg back there into plank. Walk your feet wide. Let's do a little, we'll move into side plank. So just rotate, keep both hands on the mat. Rotate the heels to the right and then back up. Heels to the left and back up. Heels to the right, maybe lift the left arm up. Back down, heels to the left. Maybe lift the right arm up. Let's do one more of these each side. And then back to plank. Drop the knees, and we'll do some seated poses for the hips. So Tadasana, staff pose, legs out long. You can keep a little bend in your knees if you have to. Stay forward on the sit bones, so the pelvis tilts forward, tilts anteriorly. Swing your arms forward, roll those little fingers towards each other, then the arms up. Drop your shoulders out of your ears. On an inhale, long spine. Exhale, floating up and over the hips. Take the feet, take the ankles, shins, whatever. And by pulling with the hands, you're going to tilt the pelvis forward. And then maybe you inch those legs a little straighter. More sensation now in the hamstrings. And inhale, come up. Bend the right knee. Bring the sole of the right foot to the mat. A little space between the foot and the thigh. Left leg's active, the foot is flexed. like you're standing on the right foot. Then we're going to wrap. Maybe you take your I Dream of Jeannie arms, or maybe you take this right arm up, back, and really close to the hip. Pressing down, lifting up through the crown of the head, and then as you exhale, twist. Unwind, lift the left leg, bring it beyond the midline, lift the right foot, take it over the left thigh, sit tall. And maybe you twist this as well. And if you're up nice and tall, you can take this right hand behind you into a half bind, just so you can maintain that upright, tall spine and not round when you do this. And then unwind. I'm going to open my right knee. I'm going to come into a seated number 4. So as I bend my left knee, I want to bring my foot more in line with my hip. You decide how deep you want to take this. Breathe into the sensation. And then extend both legs out long. Let's take another Paschimottanasana, folding forward. Maybe compare, especially hamstrings, left and right. Inhale up. Second leg, bend the left leg like you're going to step on that foot. Right leg's active, flex the foot. Wrap. Or maybe that arm comes back. And the inside of the wrist is really close to your hip. Sit tall on your inhale. Exhale, twist. Maybe push that left shoulder back a bit more, opening through the left pectoralis muscle. Unwind. We're going to take the right leg past the midline, left foot over, sit tall. And that could be it. Or maybe you twist. Maybe you take that half bind. Unwinding, we'll come into our number 4, but as we bend the right knee, we're going to slide the foot in line with the hip. Breathe. And then unwind. So let's take 90-90 or fire log pose. I'm never really sure what to call this. So I've got my right knee coming pretty much straight forward from my hip. And my right shin is pretty much parallel to the front edge of my mat. I'm just going to stack ankles and knees. And you may end up with a lot of space here. You can bring a block there if you need to. And adjust a bit. Keep your feet flexed. So you can see I'm kind of in right angles with my legs, kind of, sort of. I have fire logs, so it's like you've stacked some fire logs. And maybe you start to fold forward here. A little different sensation in the hips. A little more sensation in the IT band, especially on that top leg. And let's walk the hands one side and then the other side. And then lean back, unwind, and we'll take the second side. So the leg that was on top is now on the bottom. And stacking ankles over and under knees. You might have to fuss once you get here. Sit up tall, keep the feet flexed. And maybe forward fold here. And walk the hands one direction. And then the other direction. And then rising back up, lean back, undo those legs. Let's do a little wider, not completely Janu Shirshasana or Upavista Konasana, but heels as wide as the mat. And then bend the knees if you need to. Pull yourself forward a little bit. Then work to straighten out those legs. And rise up, and now we'll take a nice wide forward fold. So adjust on your sit bones, roll the toes inward, fold forward here. And then eventually when you feel like you've come as far forward as you want to, come up on the heels and point the toes towards the ceiling. Maybe you reach out for your big toes, keep your arms plugged in. And use that pull to draw the heart forward. So lead with the heart. And then rising back up, bend the knees. So let's come into a restorative supported fish pose. This will help open up the psoas muscle, so the hip flexors, the front of the thigh. And we've done this before. You use your blocks, and when I want to do a supported bridge. I said supported fish, but I want to open up the hip flexors. So with a supported bridge, I've got this block underneath my sacrum. And usually I cue it so it's on the widest and the shortest height. But you can lift that up, take it to the second highest, and then extend one leg at a time out. And now be careful here, these blocks are not real firm. They have blocks that are made out of cork. Sometimes they have wooden blocks. And then just let go in the psoas, deep in the belly. These hip flexors that get tight from sitting all day long. And stay here if that feels good, or come to another shape if you want that for Shavasana. If you're in this shape with me, press into the back of the head. Use that to lift your chest, tuck your shoulder blades under, and then release. And breathe. Soften into the hips, soften into the belly. Little passive stretch of that great big psoas muscle. Let's take about 3 more breaths. And if you're still on the block, you can lift your hips, slide the block off to the side, and then just come down in a neutral spine. So just lower. You can keep the knees bent if you like, or long. Inhaling into a great big old stretch. Good morning stretch. Good. Exhale. Let's draw the knees to the chest and rock right up to a seat. My hips feel nice and open. I hope yours do too. Let's inhale one more time together. It looks beautiful out there. Grab some sunshine, draw it to your heart. May you have peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste. I'll see you at OC on Friday morning, 7 o'clock. I'll see you here online next week, Wednesday morning at 7 o'clock. Thanks for joining me.